Hi, good night. What's the scene? Edanica, what is the scene? Original Toffee. Hmm? All right, so we're going to have a very, very short live tonight because I think this needs to be discussed, but at the same time, I think that people would also understand where I'm going to go with this. Sweet. So, the first thing I want to say is that there are no absolutes. So, yes, of course, that there are women who um, are actually single by choice. I know a few, like about just about two or three. But the majority of times, in the majority, when a woman says that she is single by choice, it is not the truth. I know a lot of women who are actually, a woman saying she's single by choice is equivalent to a woman saying that I'm an independent woman. I know a few women well who are highly successful, single but highly successful, and can really and truly pay for anything that they actually want happen within a month, like almost anything that they want to actually happen. But I've never heard any of them say that, hey, I'm an independent woman. So the point is, women who are actually financially independent, you will never hear them say, I'm an independent woman. In fact, while those women happen to be the most dominant women in their workplace that I know, when it comes to their partners or being in a relationship, like you tend to see them transform or transition into something totally different, totally other than what they actually people would have expected them to be. I remember at one point in time I was engaged to one when people, both male and female, saw her coming, they would have gone, wow, my goodness. And the person I know at home, we used to have a ball because I used to really laugh and say, in your job, people were real afraid you, but like, what happened? What's going on? And she used to really have a ball, like, I don't have a clue. I just perception. So when a woman says that I'm single by choice, a woman who is really and truly single by choice, who is really spending time uh, to evolve and get better and grow, they don't make the statement, I'm single by choice, because they don't even think about being single by choice. That, you know what, I'm going to be single and I'm going to work on myself and then I'll see what's going to be what's up. You know, you don't really hear them saying that. These women just simply put in the work. And sometimes you would see them say, I'm not ready for a relationship. And it's because they're either now healing from a past relationship or they have made a conscious decision to do some investing in themselves because something happened that they felt shouldn't not have happened. They assessed the situation and they made a decision that I'm going to become better. So I'm going to do more, right? That is what happened. So women who actually are single by choice, they really and truly don't vocalize, I'm single by choice, because it's not a choice that they make. It's not one that they make consciously. They just are in self development. And because they know that they're in self development and they're growing, it's why they're applying strategies and different approaches and be willing to unlearn and be forgiving, of stuff that would have happened in the past after assessing their own wrong in why something collapsed or didn't work in the first place. But in the great part, when you see a woman say that I'm single by choice, they're lying. It is not a scenario where they're actually single by choice. What it actually is they are single and they have chosen to remain single because the type of man that they actually want to be with or would have date them or marry them are not the type of men that are actually choosing them. A woman saying she's single by choice and actually meaning it is equivalent to a man saying, I am poor by choice or unsuccessful by choice. Now, while it might be hard for some people to understand, the reason it is what it is because men are not about relationships. Men are about purpose and success. That's why I always say if you meet a man who he doesn't have a vision or a purpose, you should not be with him. Don't spend a second with him. You shouldn't come and tell him what his purpose is. He's supposed to know what his purpose is. So when he meets you, he's supposed to say, listen, if you're going to be with me, this is what we're going to do. And if he doesn't have that type of vision and foresight and you can't see a direction in where he's going, then that's a problem. Because I dated a girl, and one of the things that she said to me, I remember in dating, is you will always be busy. You will always have a lot to do. And it stunned me. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, your life is not going to be average. And when I signed up to be with you, I knew it wasn't going to be average. And so the point is, if you can't identify that the person that you are about to spend your life with or have sex with or give your time and your valuable years, if you can identify that that person is going somewhere without you having to ask them, then that person is not someone you should be with as a woman. So what happens with women when they say that they're single by choice is because they are not meeting the type of man that they want to meet so that they can no longer be single. As I said before, there are some women who actually are doing some work. I know a few of them. I've understood that I played a role in the demise of my relationship, and it's up to me to make an adjustment and fix it. And so this is the decision I'm going to make, and this is how I'm going to fix it. Those women are not the ones who banter about and say, I am single by choice. Those women are the ones who actually are single by choice. So when you hear a woman saying that statement, I guarantee you she is not. The problem is this. When women say that they are single by choice, it means that generally those women have not spent time assessing what happened in the relationship that they were in before, or have not been able to assess why the kind of men that they are actually being able to attract are the ones that are actually coming. And that's what makes them single by choice. So she's single by choice on the basis of she is not able to attract the type of man she wants to spend her life with. The problem is, most people, especially women, because women date up, understand, women always try to date up, meaning that they date a partner that is better or more successful, for want of a better term, than they are. You know, that is more successful, has more money and stuff like that. Whatever it is that tickles their fancy. Even in some cases are more intelligent than they are. So those are the bases by which women date up. And so that's why it's more so happens for women than men, because a man who's a CEO could easily marry a woman who's a waitress or unemployed. As long as she looks really attractive and is able to be submissive, and at the same time, she is reasonable, he will marry that woman. So the problem is, when women say that they are single by choice, is because they are not able to assess themselves carefully to say, I understand that the reason that I'm not able to attract the kind of man that I want to attract is because, be it overweight, be it personality is not appropriate, be it that their vibration or energy is not where it's supposed to be, so they're bringing negativity, be it education and knowledge and wisdom and understanding of what a man needs, which would be lack of gender intelligence. And so those are the things that actually contribute significantly for a woman not being able to attract what she needs to attract. Now, here is my problem, or here is the problem really doesn't affect me. Too often I see women who make this statement single by choice. 90 something percent of the time, they actually go and be with a man who is the type of man who was actually chasing them all the time, that caused them to be single by choice. And I've seen women who have spent 5 and 10 years being single, waiting for that guy. As I always say, it's almost as if they expect that some seagull or pelican or something is just going to drop it out of the sky like Dumbo and say, hey, look me, take me, here. It doesn't work like that. When you are attracting something or not able to attract something, so if what you're attracting is negative or not able to attract what you want, it means that you are not what you want to attract. And that is the problem. The problem is most people attempt to attract what they are not. So they hang their hat way out of where it can reach. I would not, like, I can't tell you the amount of people who befriends me on social media. And I'm saying this particularly because if any one of them are listening, I want them to understand. And because they may find that something about me is nice or good or whatever, that they're sending tracking signals on social media. Like, why are you sending me wave? And how are you going? And what's your day like? And how can I be? What is it? Like, what is it? I don't understand. You can't just assume, and I'm telling you ladies this, you may not agree, but I find very often women tend to think that they're worth more than they actually are, or they are more valuable to a man than they are. And so they are making an attempt to, and I'm not even talking about me, I mean, I'm in a gym, I hear guys talk all the time. And I've seen girls who have been making some moves, and these guys laugh at these girls, and the most that can actually happen is some kind of sex. Because I've seen these guys say, really? And we laugh because, like, she not serious. If I were to just leave home and go to a supermarket or go to a super farm or something, wherever I go, I would feel, you see some women actually making an attempt to track. And so they're trying to attract and get my attention. But when you compare, if I were to say, hi, what is it that what is your spiritual walk like? Where is that? Or, what's up, Tash? Or, how often do you work out? What is your view? What are your views on politics or world peace or hunger? You name it. If I were to actually try to have a conversation with most of these people on almost a diverse amount of different topics and conversations, they will not even be able to have those conversations, much more be able to demonstrate external fitness or anything of the sort. You understand? But yet they're attempting to be in a relationship. The post actually indicated Instagram Tash. So, guys, it's really and truly beyond me. Many people are of the opinion that I don't really care for women. That's why I speak on women so often. But if you listen to what I'm saying, I actually don't bash women. I give more advice. I'm very critical of women, but I don't bash women. If you want to hear me say some stuff that actually can bash women, trust me. You understand? So I'm very critical of women because I know too many women who are single, and I can literally tell that time is running away with them. Understand? Women just simply need to understand that men are not about relationships. And the faster women understand that they are not, men and women are not the same, Relationships are about women. And if you don't understand that when you are looking to spend your life, your job is to become the best mate to a man that you can, because he does not care about relationships as much as you do. You don't see a man going to these wedding expos on them and thinking about how his wedding ring is going to be and what his color scheme is going to be and where he's going to get married, and you don't see men actually growing up thinking these things. Are there men who do that? Bridge-brain men? Of course, there are few. But in the greater majority, men do not have these conversations. But put a nice car in front of a man, and you will see how he responds to a nice vehicle. Men are about things. Okay? Men aren't about, if men can get everything that they want without marrying a woman, I'm telling you, we in the great part will not get married to women. But if you flip that script and you ask women if they get everything they want without being married, you will see that women still want to get married. You understand? And that is because simply relationships are not about men, it's about women. And so when women say that they are single because they are by choice, it is not because of a choice that they make. It is because of a default. In default of me not being able to attract the man that I really want to attract, I will be single because I think I am worth more than the men who are coming around me. So I'll remain single because they are beneath me. But most women who actually say that I'm single by choice, if they were to meet the right man, they will not tell this man who is a multimillionaire, has a mansion, single, 6'4", great body, and you know what? You are everything I actually wanted in a man. But I am at this stage of my life, I really don't want to get into a relationship. So I really don't want to get into a relationship. So thanks, but I'll have to pass. They wouldn't say that. Danica, is it that you're saying that if relationships, if it wasn't spiritual, if it wasn't necessary by God, they wouldn't want to get married? Yeah, so they wouldn't say that. So the fact is, they actually are not single by choice. You're single by default. And so I just want to make sure I have this point, because the women I know who actually choose to be single because they are actually doing some work on themselves, they are reading the right kind of books, and they have made a decision not to have the issues. They're working on their physique, and they say, I'm going to do better next time because I am also part of blaming why my last relationship ended. Those women do not state, I am single by choice. All right? And you can just look at the women who say these things, that I'm single by choice. And if you look at them, you just send one woman who says that to me. You test the theory with me and I'll show you. Send a woman who you know, if one of you feel that way, you tell me, and I will show you that there are many things that this woman has to work on that is causing her to never be able to get a high value man. And that's why she's saying that. Exactly. Of course, you never thought about it, Shalana, but you just open your mouth or you use your fingers and say, for me, it's more about spiritual. It's not. It's built into your DNA. You started to do it when you were young with your dollies, picturing that you were married to Barbie and Ken and all of these nonsense. When I used to work at Center of Excellence and we had those wedding expos, guys, you would not believe the amount of women, more than 60% of the women that came to those expos were not engaged and had no boyfriends. Understand? There was not a single guy that we identified. Maybe there were one or two. But there were not a single guy. What were you playing? What were you doing then, Danica? Playing marble pitch? There was not a single guy who came there without a woman because he wanted to get married And so you was watching to see, well, what the decorators do, what the cost of a wedding ring is. We did not identify because we had forms to fill out when you were entering. And we didn't pick up a single man who just came because he wanted to get in a relationship, he wanted to get married, and he wanted to see. 60%, understand, of the women who came there didn't have a man and wasn't engaged. In other words, had no idea when they would get married. None. And only about 25% of the time a man came with his intended wife. Understand? So it means, in other words, that the women who actually were engaged made sure that they dragged their partner in. He didn't tell them. They brought him. They wanted him to come and be part of the process. You understand? Shall I talking two different things? You understand that marriage is a covenant, but it's a desire in you to be married. Don't mix them up. It's not the same. Because if it wasn't a covenant and it was more black and white in paper, the record still shows that the world thinks that marriage is not a covenant, it's a piece of paper, and women are still rushing to get married. Okay? So even if you're trying to prove that you are not like the average woman, the research data shows that women want to get married still. Okay? Now, the other thing I wanted to mention before we go is, there aren't more women than men in the world. It's about every 100 men, there's 101 women. Okay? So yes, there's a slim majority. But in black people alone, especially in America, for example, or colored people, if every black woman who says that she was single by choice, because you can't play bowling across the board as if you could marry any white man you want to, any Chinese man or any Syrian or any Mexican you want, because generally, especially high value men, they stick to their own ethnic group. They're ethnic loyal. Okay? So, in the black people, let's use America as a yardstick. Even if every man wanted to be with a woman and they couple off, there will still be about 1.5 to 2 million women unmarried. Not to mention that 1 in every 4 women actually get married. 1 in every 4 black women. But let's just remove that barrier and say that all of you get married to a man. Go. Still will not have enough men for you to get married to. In other ethnic groups have more men than women. But in yours, colored people, women exceed men. Not to mention that the prisons have a lot of them. Not to mention men who are gay or bisexual. You see? So when you make the statement that I'm single by choice, you're lying. That is what this whole life is about. To say, please, ease me up with a single by choice. You're not. In most cases, you're not equipped to be married. You're immature. You're not a wife. You're not intelligent, gender intelligent. You're not in shape. You're either too old or copious amount of or combination of the above. And so you have no choice but to say you're single by choice because you are single and nobody's coming. I know some of them. Some of you have actually started to buy dogs and kittens already because you know the minute somebody says, a woman says, I want a partner or companionship, dog, cat, turtle, these things are actually coming already. The minute you hear those things. All right? So, I actually don't really care for having a wedding. You can go to the quotas. But you want to get married. Danica, if you go to the scripture, which I know you know a bit of, you will see that if a woman was not married and had no kids, she was worthless in those days. And I kid you not, the same stands for today. The only difference is we have used social media and we have used wealth and success to negate the fact that it still exists. Because if you ever meet a woman who is not accomplished in the world, right? Isn't somebody, a manager, senior manager, or wealthy, is single and have no husband or kids, you will see how you will position her. You will see that you will find her to be worthless. But that's not the criteria you use for man. For men, the criteria you actually use would be his success. That's what you women judge men on. So the only how you will find that a man is worthless is not if he doesn't have kids, not if he isn't married. In fact, men who are not married are the ones who are held up as bachelors, worthy to be chosen that knight in shining armor. The only thing you judge men on is their ability to be productive and successful. There is a difference. Women are about relationships, men are about purpose and success. Alright? So I guess you guys knew that I was going to come and I was going to say this, and I hope I put it in the right context. And I have always been one that is open and willing to test the theory. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. Show me the woman who is single by choice, and says it, and I'll show you why she had no choice but to be single. Let's test the theory. Alright? So like, share, comment, subscribe. Bye for now. See you guys on Friday. And Friday night is going to be as spicy. I promise you. Take care.